Someone showed you the footage. A neighbor, a pet cam you checked on a whim, a family member who happened to be home, and there was your dog, same spot, right by the door. Ears slightly forward, eyes locked on the entrance, completely, unnervingly still in a way they never are when you're actually home. You'd been gone 4 hours. They'd been there for most of it. Short pause. You can see the worn patch in the carpet. That specific flattened oval that wasn't there 2 years ago and is definitely not going anywhere now. And someone who watched the footage told you your dog's head snapped up a full 30 seconds before your key even touched the lock. I used to think they were waiting for me. Turns out the word waiting doesn't quite cover it. Here's the story most of us tell ourselves, and honestly, it's a good story. Your dog waits because they love you, because you're their person, because coming home is the best part of their entire day, and they've been counting down since the second the door closed behind you. It's the caption on every pet video that goes viral. It's what gets shared, screenshot, turned into a greeting card. And it's true, just not completely. The love is real. But it's sitting on top of something much more biologically layered than that framing suggests, and almost nobody looks beneath it. Because here's the thing, the waiting behavior isn't one thing. It's not a single feeling expressed as a stationary dog near a door. It's at least 4 separate biological and psychological systems running simultaneously, and love, actual attachment, is only one of them. Actually, even using the word love is already doing some compression that flattens the reality. Canine behaviorists would use phrases like separation, distress regulation, anticipatory behavior, and temporal pattern recognition. And each one of those is its own rabbit hole. Each one changes what that worn carpet patch means. Researchers at the Budapest Dog Cognition Lab, including Topol and colleagues, adapted the classic strange situation experiments, originally designed to measure human-infant attachment for dogs. And what they found is that dogs experience measurable distress during owner absence that is neurologically distinct from general anxiety. It's not just stress, it's specifically attachment figure absence, a targeted, relationship-specific response. And the reunion behavior, the proximity seeking, the contact holding, the gradual resettlement once you've been home long enough, follows the same arc as human infant caregiver reunions, almost beat for beat. I kept rereading those studies because the parallel is almost uncomfortably precise. Your dog at the door isn't just hanging around, they're in an active neurological state of attachment figure monitoring, which sounds clinical, but means something enormous. And this is the part that quietly reframes everything. The wait isn't peaceful. For a lot of dogs, particularly those with anxious attachment styles, which is more common than we treat it, the waiting period involves elevated cortisol, reduced eating, reduced play, and a specific low-grade stress state that only fully resolves at reunion. The zoomies that explode the second you walk in? That's not purely joy, though joy is part of it. That's cortisol finally releasing. The tippy taps, the full body wiggle, the toy they sprint to grab before they can even greet you properly. That's a nervous system unwinding from hours of vigilance, which means the reunion is doing more work than you realized, and maybe deserves more than a distracted, "Hey bud," on the way to drop your bag. Here's the part that genuinely stopped me. Alexandra Horowitz's research, along with studies measuring cortisol scent decay, suggests that dogs can estimate how long their owner has been gone based on the fading concentration of the owner's scent in the environment. The longer you've been away, the fainter your smell, and their anticipatory behavior adjusts accordingly. They're not just waiting, they're running a biological clock calibrated specifically to you, using your scent as the variable. Small pause. Those Frito paw pressed against the door gap, nose working the crack under the frame. That's not just adorable. That nose is actively processing your chemical timeline, updating in real time, adjusting the internal countdown, and this behavior is ancient. In ancestral dog populations, monitoring the return of group members was survival relevant. The dogs most attuned to return patterns, most responsive at reunion, most distressed by absence, those were the ones who maintained the tightest bonds with humans and thrived because of it. The vigil at the door is 10,000 years old. Dry Paws, Vizslas, for the record, took this evolutionary assignment extremely personally and turned separation sensitivity into an entire personality type. Shiba Inus will absolutely pretend they weren't waiting. The worn carpet patch tells a different story, but the behavior has variations most owners notice without quite decoding. The dog who waits at the door versus the window. Door waiters are proximity-focused, anticipating contact. Window waiters are monitoring your approach, gathering information earlier in the process. Two different strategies, both ancient. The one who carries a sock to their waiting spot, that's oral motor self-soothing during stress. The same gifting behavior repurposed as a coping mechanism. They're not being cute, they're managing something, and the quiet, muffled, almost bark some dogs do while they're waiting, like they're practicing the greeting before you arrive. Tilt head slightly, like a dog listening for footsteps. The 30-second early alert, head snapping up before any human could detect anything, that scent or low-frequency sound detection operating at a level that just doesn't have an equivalent in our sensory experience. Here's the data point that quietly rearranged things for me. Studies on separation behavior show that the intensity of reunion response doesn't scale linearly with absence length. Dogs separated for 30 minutes and dogs separated for 4 hours show similar reunion intensity because the attachment system doesn't operate on a timer. It operates on presence versus absence. Your dog isn't more committed to your return the longer you've been gone. They've been fully committed since the second the door closed. The countdown started immediately. Every hour since has been the same vigil, running at the same depth. So here's the only practical thing I'll say, and it's not a training note. Stop, look directly at camera. Speak slightly slower. The next time you walk through that door, before the phone, before the shoes, before whatever you're carrying in from the day, there's something on the other side that has been running a biological countdown to that exact moment since you left. That has been monitoring your scent fading. That practiced the greeting. 10 seconds, full presence, eye contact, the reunion they've been calibrating for hours. That's all. Not guilt, just awareness of what's actually happening on the other side of that door. I used to think they were waiting for me. Waiting implies passivity, implies patience, time passing neutrally, something endured until something better arrives. It's the wrong word entirely. What your dog does at that door is active, it's biological. It's a nervous system fully oriented toward one specific return, running a scent-based countdown, self-soothing with a stolen sock, doing quiet practice barks, wearing a patch into the carpet that will absolutely outlast the habit that made it. Quiet beat. That worn spot isn't damage. It's a record of every single day they chose the door, because you were on the other side of it. Okay, I need to see this. What does your dog's waiting spot look like? Is it the door, the window, the top of the stairs, somewhere completely illogical that somehow makes perfect sense to them? And has anyone else noticed the worn patch situation, or is that just mine? Drop it in the comments. Let's actually see the waiting spots. The weirder the location, the better. And if this changed how the homecoming feels even slightly, subscribe, because the next video gets into something your dog does with you every day that researchers only recently figured out, and the explanation is stranger than anything in this one.